wedding. Among those, 67%, 53% of those have had money arguments before the wedding.
I didn't expect our wedding to cost what it did. I mean, it cost. That's infidelity, financial infidelity.
He was crying. He said, the fact that you would steal from us. Bro, 600,000 subs, over 630 interviews with single individuals, married couples. Now it hasn't even been a month and you're married. I will call you a student of love, a student of relationships, a student of being single throughout your years of interviews, years of expertise, and now you've practiced what you've been interviewing and preaching. One thing that you've learned over those interviews for single men and for single ladies.
For single men is that depending on where the man is in his life, intentionality. I think that's the word for both, is to be intentional about whatever your encounters are with the opposite sex. Whether you want marriage, say that. If you just want something casual, say that. And if you guard someone's heart with intentionality and just let somebody say, hey, listen, I'm not looking for marriage off the top, then people know how to have healthy expectations of what that relationship is going to be.
Now, what would you say to Christian people? Because we are living in a generation, if we're being honest, that some people don't want to be married, bro.
And that's okay.
And they're Christian.
Yep.
You know, they're 40 years old, and people say, oh, no, that's not like God for you to be alone, and that's not practicing Christianity if you want to be alone, because let's be honest, how are you going to be a Christian and abstain for the rest of your life, right? Throughout your expertise, and I'm curious, you even talk about this in your latest book that's coming out here within a couple of days, Student of Love. What would you say to that single person that says, you know what, Laterras, I don't want to be married, but I truly do love God still, though?
I think that's safe as long as you've been honest with your own emotions. When you start talking about, Paul, he never got married. And so Jesus never got married. So a lot of times we try to demonize singleness when some people have the grace for singleness. Yeah. I don't have the grace for singleness. I just didn't. I don't have the grace for singleness and expect to practice abstinence for the rest of my life. That's not my testimony. Yeah. And so, but some people do. Some people, I've spoken to people who have been abstinent for 21 years, 28 years. And I'm like, what? And they still desire marriage, but they have whatever grace that is to be abstinent for 21 plus years. Yeah. So that's a different story. But those people may end up never getting married, and they would be fine saying that they honored God for 20 plus years, honoring him from a physical standpoint of not having sex outside of marriage, and honoring him with their life, devoted their life to them. I just know for myself, I always speak for myself.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the grace for that.
Man, I agree with you, brother. I don't have the grace for that. I can't wait to, I'm dating, and I can't wait to find it. I gotta go on record, y'all. Put me on this camera right here, Ed.
They focus intensely. They thrive on routine. Sometimes
he beat me. He said he was, so he said he was gonna beat me. On my last show with you, bro, you was like, I'm gonna get married by the end of 2025.
That's what I said.
Now I gotta ask you this question up front. Were you already dating my sister, man?
Not at all.
You weren't dating her?
I didn't even know who my wife was when I said that. We went on our first date March the 18th.
And I did my show with you in
January. So March the 18th, we had our first date. And I didn't even know. Like, I knew of her because she was my friend for about a year and 4 months by the time we had our first date.
Right.
But we basically friend-zoned each other. We were just friends. And then in the end of February, I had a dream about her. I had a dream that she was dating somebody else. And throughout the whole time of us knowing each other, we knew that we were dating other people. No big deal, no jealousy. But that night, I had a dream that she was dating somebody else, and I woke up jealous. And I woke up mad. And I called, I was like, hey, yesterday, you said you ran into this guy. It was a guy, she was out in another state because she works or whatever nationally. And she was with her cousin, and her cousin's friend was trying to hit on her. And she was talking to me. He said, he trying to hit on me or whatever. And I just laughed and got off the phone. That next morning, I had a dream that they had sex. And I woke up the next morning angry. And I was like, did you have sex with that dude? She was like, what are you talking about? She said, good morning. I said, good morning. Did you have sex with that dude? And she was like, what are you tripping? She said, no, I didn't. What do you mean the guy I just met yesterday? I said, why am I tripping? But I felt, she ended up telling me later from her studies, that's called mate guarding. When you start building a connection with somebody and you start mate guarding, you start trying to protect them subconsciously. And I was like, what? And then from that point on, I said, I want to take you on a date. I want to take you on a date to see if there's more to our friendship. And I said, tell me your earliest availability. She said, March the 18th. I said, cool. I booked the flight right then. I said, I'll be flying to LA March the 18th to take you on a date. And once we went on our date, didn't look back.
Listen, if you're building wealth with your partner, you need to protect what you're building together. That's where trust and will comes in. Look, we talk about generational wealth and legacy all the time, but here's the real question. If something happened to you tomorrow, would your family be taken care of? Trust and will makes it simple to create a will, set up a trust, and make sure everything you're working for goes exactly where you want it to go. It's affordable, it's online, and you can get it done in minutes. I want you to head over to anthonyoneal.com/trust-will. Again, that is anthonyoneal.com/trust-will, and protect your legacy today. Because love isn't just about building together. It's about protecting what you've built. A beautiful wedding, man, and thank you for allowing me to be a part.
No, thank you for coming.
Your celebration, man, and your union. We're a money show, bro, and I did some research. 67% of marriages take on debt for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Among those 67%, 53% of those have had money arguments before the wedding. Now, two-part question for you. How has the money conversation been with you and your spouse? Because both of you all are prime in y'all's particular spaces. Right. And then as a student of love, interviewing, I'm curious, what has been your study when it comes to money and marriages and money and relationships?
From the financial standpoint of our own marriage, I didn't expect our wedding to cost what it did. I mean, it cost $150,000.
$150,000.
$150,000.
150?
150. You gotta say 50.
150, bro?
Yes, and I didn't expect for it to be that. I wanted to get married in Dallas because Dallas was a whole lot more affordable to have a marriage. LA, everything is 3 times, you can Google it.
Yeah.
But it's 3 times the cost of any other market to get married. So our initial conversation was where we're going to get married, which would dictate how much this wedding's going to cost.
Right.
When I proposed to in LA, and even getting the decor and all that for the engagement, I said, oh, I can't get married in LA. It's too expensive. And so I was like scared to have that conversation. And then I said, let's just have this conversation. So I did an interview with Essence, and I told Essence, we're deciding between Dallas and LA. My heart was 100% on Dallas. I had a church on hold, the Concord Church on hold. We was gonna get married in Dallas. I just had to convince her to get married in Dallas. So I was like, here, you can guide it. You know, pick where you want and all that stuff. But in my mind, I was like, we ain't getting married in LA. Too expensive to spend this kind of money. It doesn't make sense. And then she had a conversation after she found this particular venue for the reception. She said, can I at least just have it in LA? I'm gonna be moving to Dallas. Can I just have it in LA? And I said, all right, this is the first part of husbandry is compromise. I said, it costs too much. She said, listen, we'll split it. We'll split it. We'll on the cost of everything. I just want it here. And I said, bet.
Let's do it. The marriage?
We split the cost of the wedding. Absolutely.
So talk to me about that, bro, because the ladies are looking at you like, what?
Well, it's the reality. We both grown. So at the day, her parents told us straight up, we ain't paying for the wedding. So they were like, typically customary, the father pays for the wedding. And he said, hey, I'm letting y'all know, I can't help out. I can't pay for it. Her mom said, hey, y'all got my blessing, but y'all ain't got my money. And so I said, fair. So as 2 grown adults, 2 entrepreneurs, we sat down and said, if we want the wedding that we want to have, we're going to pay for it. And so that's what we did. And that was the healthiest conversation, because it wasn't like she was putting unnecessary burden on me to be like, well, you need to pay for this, you need to do this. She was like, I got my own money, so let's do this together. And that taught me the type of partner I was marrying, that it was partnership from the very beginning.
And you didn't feel less than because you didn't provide all of it.
So that little toxic mindset that I have a hint of toxic masculinity from the standpoint of feeling like I have to do everything.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, while I have good intentions to be like, I want to be the provider, I want to do all that, my initial desire from Dallas was that I could manage it financially. I got tons of relationships there, so I don't have to pay the cost of everything. It's like I just have beautiful relationships. So that's what I wanted. God had to heal that in me in the process of the courtship, because he was like, but this is what your partner's for. And so when she told me that, I was like, so be honest and transparent. I was like, man, no, I don't want to have to come out of pocket for this. Naturally, that was my first inclination. And God said, but this is partnership, relax. Because the part of my old trauma from my past marriage, financially, when I went through the toughest season of my life financially, I no longer desired marriage because I was saying that I couldn't provide for my wife. I had to file bankruptcy and all that. And at that time, I was like, not only am I bankrupt financially, but I felt like my marriage was bankrupt. So I started self-sabotaging in my past marriage. So then I had to face that again. God said, all right, here it is. Now, are you going to allow that ideology to be like, you got to pay for everything to reign supreme in this? Or are you going to submit to this and say, this is what partnership looks like? And I said, okay, this is uncomfortable for me, but let me embrace what's uncomfortable. And as a great partner, she helped me through that. She was like, no, I got money. We can do this. And I was like, okay. But then I heard Anthony O'Neill in my head talking about, why you spend all this money on a wedding? I'm hearing you in my head, and I'm like, yeah, but Anthony, you understand, this is a wife. This is her first marriage. This is what she desires. Now, my first marriage was $30,000. My second marriage was $150,000. You know what I'm saying? And so that was 20 years ago when I was married the first time. And so I was like, I know inflation ain't that much, but but at the end of the day, here I am. And I said, Anthony he gonna take me through the ringer.
Hey, man, I'm gonna take both of y'all through the ringer, sis. Love you. There ain't no way in the world I'm spending $150 on a wedding.
But it was nice though, wasn't it pretty?
No, now listen, bro. When we walked into that reception area,
Thinking about starting a franchise business? Don't. I'm Douglas James, and just imagine waking up tomorrow and
bro, I'll be honest. I've been to a lot of weddings over my lifetime, and I was never that much wowed when I walked in. That venue was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It's only 2 years old too.
Are you serious?
Like I want to duplicate that. I had a conversation with one of the owners. I want to partner with them and duplicate that in Dallas. I want. My whole dream has been to have a wedding venue. Wow. So when she saw that venue, she said, babe, I gotta have our wedding here. And she showed me some pictures, and I was like, I'm all in. So it's a lot of stuff is, you know, some stuff can be a little ostentatious. You'd be like, well, you spent this money unnecessarily. Right. But at the end of the day, it's like, this is our special day. And if I could never pay for, there's no dollar amount that could pay for the smile that was on her face when I told her, yes, we could have it here. So it's those things that you get where you go, okay, God got it. You know what I'm saying? Was that uncomfortable for me to spend that kind of money? Absolutely. But to treat the guest to a 26-course meal, you know what I'm saying? Like all of that, it was like, it just is what it is.
Bro, I was so full when I left there. And I left early to go see my father, who's in the hospital.
How's he doing, by the way?
Not good, bro, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? But we're praying throughout the family situation, and you know, I don't know how to respond to it, but I've learned to tell the truth rather than say, "Oh, he doing all right." He ain't doing good.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be honest.
That's real.
And our family's just taking it one day at a time, and praying, and being there for him, being there for my mom, and being there for each other within our family, man. You know, and so it's a rough season for us. It's a rough season for us. And when we get through this side, I can't wait to share on my show what we have experienced and how mental health is so important. You know, because we haven't experienced this I've never experienced something like this within my families, and I got 2 sets of families,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
I've never experienced this before, but
Is this your biological father or the one?
Stepdad.
Yeah, stepdad. Yeah.
that's my stepdad. So
And I love how you always say my father, and I have to ask the question because you look at them both the same by a way that you explained it.
yeah, man. When I say I'm blessed to have 4 loving parents,
Yeah.
I don't believe in the term step. I only say that to provide clarity.
Right.
But in my heart of hearts, nah, man. I have a father, and
I love it.
it was hard at your wedding, knowing that my dad is 3 hours down the road in a hospital, and I'm never that close. So I was like, shoot, I celebrated with my brother all day long. Let me get down.
Yeah. And I respected that.
For that, man.
And you left with a love offering, so I appreciate that too.
Yeah, man. No, man. I believe in that, man, because for me it was, I'm on your show and I'm being vulnerable and honest. Was even attacked a little bit from
Just hate
immature
it.
people.
We're gonna call them.
Immature people, when I was genuinely like, yo, I genuinely do want marriage.
Yeah.
And I've made some stupid decisions in the past, but I genuinely do want it. And to see that you did it, it was, let me sow into what I want.
Hey man, that's what I used to always do.
You know what I'm saying?
I sow where I want to go.
I sow where I want to go, and I sow where I want to grow.
Yep.
And so while I'm in this life of dating intentionally now, I'm just sowing into just good grounds, man, because I want to reap that harvest. Your vows to your wife and her vows to you. I was like, wow. I'm sitting in the back. I was with my girl Lexi, and I was like, yo, this is beautiful.
Hey man,
Like, this is just powerful, man. But you said something in your book, y'all. Lateris has a brand new book that is coming out here in a couple of weeks, actually, called Student of Love: Your Guide to Discover, Uncover, and Recover Healthy Relationships, man. And I love this because it's been forwarded by Dr. Gary Chapman, who's a New York Times bestselling author of the 5 Love Languages. And this book blessed me. I was hoping he would bring us the hard copy, but the hard copy is not out just yet. I had an opportunity to read through a couple of chapters. I haven't read it all yet. I don't want to lie. But man, you said in your book that mission statements are hold on a minute.
not just they're not just for businesses.
Businesses, yes. But how couples can really connect.
Absolutely.
Talk about that.
So a lot of times with businesses, they develop mission statements to keep everybody aligned. And so and churches have mission statements so that every parishioner knows this is the core belief of this church or this business, this corporation. And a lot of times what I found in my past marriage, I didn't have a mission statement. I didn't have no direction. I sucked as a leader. And if you can't take somewhere, you can't take somebody else where you don't even know where you're going. I just felt like coexisting, living together, being married was enough. And so we didn't have a core mission statement.
Yeah.
And so what I found in dating and looking at other couples, and I said, okay, when you look at people and you say this is a power couple, or you look at a couple and you say, I like what they're doing together.
Yeah.
Whether they have it defined, written down or not, they have a core mission statement that they have it. Whether it's prioritizing family.
Yeah.
Family comes first.
Yeah.
That is a mission statement. No matter what job opportunity comes, people may walk away from a job that pulls them away from the family too long.